going on, guys and gals? Let's talk about get home bags and bug out bags. That can kind of be a loaded topic depending on who's talking about it and what they're saying and what's going on. I want to give you my thoughts, okay? And again, these are my thoughts that I've put a lot of pondering time into. Not that my thoughts or opinions count any more, any less than anybody else's. I just want to throw them out there and maybe give you a different approach, different angle than what you've looked at before. When people talk about having a get-home bag or a bug-out bag, it seems like I find on YouTube and elsewhere that I sometimes wonder if the people using those terms and showing their bags and stuff really understand the term that they're using and what they're talking about in the situation. Because I've seen people show off bug out bags, quote unquote, that I honestly hope wherever they're bugging out to is within a day's walk. Because the size of their bag, the equipment they've got in their bag, is not going to get them further than about what they can cover on foot in a 12, maybe 24-hour period. And I guess that's where you have to be real careful when you start talking about a bug-out bag or a get-home bag or whatever. You need to look at a couple of things. So before we get into the bags, let's talk about those particular terms and topics. And I'll go ahead and warn you right now, this is probably going to be a long video just because it's a long subject, but I feel like it's something worth delving into and doing it thoroughly. So I'll pause right here and I'll give you a second and give you a chance to go get you a cup of coffee, a cup of tea from my UK buddies, or whatever your beverage and snack of choice is. Get comfortable, sit back, and let's delve into this. Alright, is everybody good? Got your beverage, got your snack, good to go, right? Okay. Let's talk about some of the terms. If you're talking about a get-home bag, typically generally referred to and thought of as a small to medium-sized bag that you would use if you were out and about around town, maybe out shopping, out with the family, typically at work, that sort of thing. And some kind of catastrophic event happens that you now suddenly find yourself in one of a multiple positions. One being maybe you can't get home and you've got to stay where you're at overnight, or maybe it's that you've got to get home and you can't use your vehicle anymore, you got to do it on foot. Typically, that's the one I think most folks think about. So we'll just hypothetically run with that. And again, everything we're talking about here is hypothetical, okay? First thing you need to do, and this is something that I don't think some people really consider, think about how far away from home you are. Whether you're out shopping, at work, whatever. Let's just stick with the work scenario for the sake of argument. Think about how far away from home you are at work during the day. Think about traveling that same distance by foot and not in your vehicle. Maybe it takes you 25, 30 minutes to get to work on a given day driving your car. How long is it going to take you to walk that distance? Think about that. It's probably a lot further than what you think. Think about, if I'm covering that distance on foot, what kind of potential situation is it? If it's a situation where safety is not an overly big concern, and you can use, regular streets and highways and byways to walk on out in the open, that sort of thing, you'll be able to do it a lot quicker than, say, maybe if safety is a concern and you're kind of having to stick to the shadows, so to speak, and be a little more careful. If you're having to stick to the shadows, how much extra time is that going to add to your distance? Considering the distance you've already got to travel, how much longer is it going to take you? I would dare say that if something bad enough has happened to where you're having to walk home on foot with your bag and can't use your vehicle, considering modern society, that's probably going to be a relatively dangerous situation. You're going to want to be pretty careful. People are probably going to be panicking relatively quickly in some kind of major event like that. Obviously, it's been something major if you can't drive home. So most people are probably going to start freaking out pretty quick. The criminal element of society, unfortunately, will probably try to take advantage of that pretty quick. So chances are you're probably not going to just be bebopping down the side of the road on the sidewalk like you're just out for a stroll. You're probably going to have to be a little careful how you're going. Let me pause there and make one little comment on that, because the packs we're fixing to get into. Excuse me. My personal opinion, people get concerned and wrapped up around their bag, bug out bag, get home bag, whatever. They don't want a military looking pack. They don't want a military colored pack or a camouflage pack or whatever, because they have this, in my opinion, very odd notion that that's somehow going to draw attention to them. People, let's be realistic. If you're having to grab your bag and walk home because something bad enough has happened that you can't drive, I can just about, not completely, but just about guarantee you that 98+% of the population is not going to pay a lick of attention to what color or pattern or shape your backpack is. They're not going to do it, because most people aren't prepared. Most people are going to be panicking and running around like chickens with their heads cut off, freaking out. They're not going to give you any attention. If they do, what are they going to do? Are they going to call 911 and report a suspicious person? If you can't drive home, then chances are nobody else is driving either. Chances are there's probably not going to be any law enforcement response if things are that bad. We're not talking about taking a stroll through the mall on an average day here. People are not going to pay attention to what you're carrying. Those that do pay attention to what you're carrying, i.e. the criminal element, it is not going to matter a hill of beans to them what you're using. they are going to see someone with stuff. It could be a black plastic trash bag that you've got over your shoulder. All you're going to look like to them is a post-apocalyptic Santa Claus. Okay? They're going to see stuff. It's not going to matter what you're carrying the stuff in. My advice, get the best thing that's going to work. The most durable, the most versatile, the most comfortable. Typically that's going to be a military style pack. You can get them in earth tone colors, coyote, OD green, etc., to kind of minimize your signature. If you do need to hide from someone, which I think chances are probably pretty good that at some point in that trek home you probably will, you want to be able to do that as easily as possible. Okay? Having a camouflage backpack might make that a little bit easier. It definitely, in my opinion, is not going to hurt. Okay? The same for your clothing. Okay? Go out right now and go people watching at the mall sometime. Look at how many people you see wearing a camouflaged article of clothing. It's almost fashionable nowadays in a lot of places. And a lot of people don't even know what they're looking at. From 20 yards away, they can't tell if you're wearing camouflage or some new crazy, faddish, psychedelic, printed jacket or shirt or something. Same with the backpacks. You see people using camouflaged and military style backpacks all the time now, every day for all kind of stuff. Stop worrying about that, people. Just my opinion. Okay? So, you're getting home, you're on foot, heading home from work, you've got your get home bag. Okay? How long is it going to take you to get there on foot? And be realistic about this in your mind. Now, don't think that, oh, well, I can walk 25 miles in a day. Well, yeah, you can. But can you do it under that kind of situation? Could you do it if it's in the middle of pouring down rain all day long? Could you do it in the middle of winter? Could you do it in the middle of summer? Do you have enough water capability to stay hydrated? Do you have enough clothing to stay warm? Do you have the right equipment to stay cool? Keep the sun off of you. If it's in the southeastern United States, or even maybe the midwestern United States, for example, and you've got to walk on foot, figure walking conservatively, let's say you can do 5 miles in an hour. Well, if you did 5 miles an hour non-stop, and you've got that 30-minute drive, how many miles is that? Okay, look at your mileage and see, and then start calculating how many hours. Probably going to take you all day long. Can you walk all day long out in the sun during the summer in the southeastern U.S. if you got the right clothing in your bag to keep that sun off of you so that you don't turn into a lobster? Because as we all know, it doesn't take on some days more than 20 minutes in the sun and you're cooked. Think about it. Same for the cold weather, etc., rainy weather, whatever. So plan on having to be overnight, at least one night. Look at your bag, and then this is what I want to start getting into. Do you have enough water, enough food, enough shelter capability to last 1, 2 nights? You probably ought to plan for 2 or 3 nights. Again, depending on your distance, depending on where you're at, whether you're traveling from the big city out to the suburbs, or maybe you already work and live in the suburbs, whatever. Look at your individual situation and then be realistic about it. Always have a little bit more than what you think you're going to need. But a lot of folks' bags that I see for that particular situation, a get-home bag, are really, really small. And if they've got to be out more than a day in anything other than fairly decent weather, I'm afraid they're going to be in trouble. So think about that. Carry that same thought over into a bug-out bag. if you've got to bug out and leave your home on foot, that's a bad situation. It's a serious situation. That's probably a situation where you can probably say that you're not coming back. If you do come back, don't count on your house or your belongings still being there. Whole nother video, but if you do have to bug out on foot, where are you bugging out to? Do you have a retreat location to go to? Do you have friends or family or somebody that you've already got an arrangement with to go stay with? Do you have somewhere to go? I wonder sometimes when people talking about bugging out, are they just talking about, okay, well I got to bug out and leave without ever giving any thought to where they're going to? If you're planning on just going to the local patch of woods and hanging out, that might be a possibility, but it might not. What if a couple of hundred other people have got the same idea? Are you prepared to be around a whole bunch of other people piled in one place like that? That's gonna, if you're planning on going out and hunting game for food on the way, what if everybody else is doing it? Game populations in an area can get depleted real quick. Think about in a bug out bag where you're going, how far you've got to go, how long it could potentially realistically take you, and take into consideration whether it's just you or are you going to have the wife and kids and who all else in tow with you. Sure, maybe you can make 10 miles an hour on foot with your big giant rug. What about the kids and the wife? What about other people that may be, family that may be coming with you? Can they sustain that and do it? Do you have enough stuff to take care of everybody? Food, water, shelter, etc. Again, I see what some people tout as their bug out bag, and all I can hope is that their location they're bugging out to is relatively close by, and they won't have to be very stealthy in getting to it, because they've got a big bag full of stuff, but it's not necessarily going to last them more than a day or two on foot realistically. I'm not an authority on all that, believe me. I'm still learning as much as you guys. This is just stuff I want to throw out for your consideration, to maybe get you thinking, get you asking questions, and being honest with yourself like I try to be. What I see some people using as get-home bags, in my opinion, is nothing more than a day bag or an overnight bag for staying at a hotel. What I see a lot of people using as a bug-out bag is nothing more than what you'd use for a night or two of solo camping, and that's it. Be realistic, guys. Look at your bags. Come up with your own definitions, your own requirements, etc. But think about those things. I'm going to show you a few things that where my mind goes. I'm open to thoughts and discussion. Heck, you may change my mind or my thoughts on some of this. Okay? So let's talk about a typical starting out get-home bag. A lot of people use really, really small bags. Pardon me. On the small end of the spectrum, you've got small packs such as this. This is a Tactical Tailor removable operator pack. It's a great little pack. It makes a great day pack. If you've got retreat property that you might end up needing to patrol for security or whatever, this is a really good day-long patrol pack for you. fit just enough food, water, and equipment in here to make it a good day. If you're relatively close to home, this may be an option. You could probably fit some shelter in there, food and water, a few little sundry things. It's not a really big bag though, okay? You start stuffing things in there, you run out of room pretty quick depending on what you're putting in there. So there's that size. You can step up to something like this. This is Tactical Tailor's modular operator pack. I'm a big fan of Tactical Tailor packs, if you can't tell. This is actually one of my get home bags, and this is probably the smallest of my personal get home bag setups, okay? It's got enough space with a couple of added pouches on the side for shelter, some food, water, change of clothes, that sort of thing. It's in Coyote Brown. I guarantee you can throw this pack on and walk down the street, nobody's going to pay a bit of attention to you. I actually take this pack and go do my my runs with it to get a little ruck run in, and haven't ever had anybody say a single word. Nobody even notices it, anything other than it's a backpack. That's it. Okay. This is a really comfortable, mid-sized they say 3-day packs for this size of pack. For me, honestly, it's more like a overnight, maybe 2-day, 2.5-day bag, really. 3-day bag is going to be, boy, you're really hardcore suffering through it for 3 days straight to try to live out of something like this. So you can add a couple pouches onto it, and it makes a great bag. Okay, it's a good option, good size, depending on how close you are. Now, you can step up to something like this. This is Tactical Tailor's extended range operator pack. Okay. This bag, honestly, and I know it looks big, but when you start putting things in there, this is probably my first choice for a true multi-day get-home bag, just to get home from, other side of town or two. Because by the time you put something in there to handle sleeping overnight, shelter, poncho liner, sleeping bag, whatever, change of clothes, some food, water, your ability to purify more water, to cook food if you needed to have light, first aid, things like that, you start taking up space pretty quick. This one does real good because it's an internal frame pack, fits real good to the body, not overly expensive, okay? But you can see that bag, a lot of people would consider this their end of the world bug out bag. And for me, where my particular bug out location currently is, I could make it with that bag if my wife and kids all had the same bag, which they're not where they can carry that size bag just yet. They have to carry something a little smaller. Physics is physics. Size and strength dictate a lot of things. But making it to where I got to go with that bag, if all my other family members have got them and packed the same way, would be doable, but it would be very uncomfortable. Okay, it would not be a comfortable thing to do by any stretch. Now, if you really want to step up into what I consider a true bug out bag, it's going to have to be a big bag. Okay, there's just no way around it, guys. You've got to be able to have substantial shelter, food, water, etc. Especially if you're wherever you're bugging out to. Hopefully, you've already got other stuff pre-positioned there. If you're planning on bugging out and going somewhere, and everything you're going to have for however long this event may last in your bag, give some thought to that. Let that really sink into your head, okay? Currently, my big, huge, I got to go a long ways for a long time on foot bag is this external frame GI MOLLE rub, okay? This is the Multicam MOLLE 2 rub. Now, as you can see, I can somewhat open that out. It's empty at the moment. This is a big, gigantic bag. You can put a lot, and I do mean a lot, of stuff in this bag, okay? You are not going to be going really fast with this bag unless you are just a world-class PT stud or fresh out of basic training, boot camp, whatever. Even then, you walking carrying 60, 70, 80 pounds on you, it's going to add to your time. It takes you to get places. The longer it takes you to get wherever you're going, the more supplies you're going to need to be carrying. The more supplies you carry, the heavier it is. The heavier it is, the longer it takes you. It's a vicious cycle, okay? So that would be my true long range, I gotta go and don't know if I'm ever coming home again type bag, okay? One other option is something like this. Is the GI MOLLE rub. I'm sorry, assault pack. That's the MOLLE rub. This is the assault pack. Now there is a USGI medium pack, okay? And I see this getting mixed up on eBay a lot. There's 3 different size packs. There's the full size MOLLE, the medium, and then the assault pack. Be very careful when you're shopping for the assault pack or the medium pack. Make sure you're getting the one that you're looking for, because I see people mislabel them all the time. This is not the GI medium pack. The medium pack has got an external frame to it, okay? And it's bigger than this. This bag is just the right size for maybe a day-long security patrol type thing, for a short range get home bag, kind of like what the removable operator pack from Tactical Tailor would be. It's a little bit bigger than that, but again, you start putting stuff in there, you find out how quick you run out of room. So without continuing to just ramble on incessantly further, I guess what my point really is think about, guys, what you're talking about when you're looking at a bug out bag, a get home bag. Be very, very honest with yourself and realistic about what you're going to need, how long it's going to take you to get where you're going, who all you're going to have with you, what are they going to be able to carry. If you've got 1 or 2 small children, you're not only going to have to carry your stuff, but you're going to have to carry stuff for them too. It just is what it is. So think about all that, and think about what, when you call something a bug out bag. This is my bug out bag. Well, here's my bug out bag. And like I said, unless your bug out location is within a day's walk, this isn't a bug out bag. Okay? This is just, it's way too small for a true bug out bag. If you've got to be any kind of distance, in my opinion, more than just, like I said, a day's walk. So there's so many things to think about and take into consideration. It can be daunting, it can be mind-boggling. I fully admit that, and agree. It can overwhelm you sometimes when you're thinking about, how do I want to set up my bag, what do I want to get in it, what bag do I want to get. My opinion, get a bigger bag than what you think you need. Nobody says you got to fill it up, okay? That's what compression straps are for on a bag. Cinch down all that extra space. Now, avoid the temptation to fill it up just because it's got space, okay? Just because it's got space doesn't mean you need to put something in there. But just like in a survivalist, preparedness-minded person mindset, it's always better to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. I would rather have that space to pack things that I may end up needing than to not have that space and find out, oh crap, I need to pack this and I've got no room to put it in, okay? You can always cinch that bag down bigger. You can always cinch the bag down smaller, but it's really hard to make the bag go bigger, okay? So again, I just want to throw that out there. Think about it when you're drinking your morning coffee, reading the funnies, whatever. You know, try to be realistic about this stuff. Look at your bags, look at what you need to pack, where you're going to go, what you're going to have to go through to get there, etc. And then think about your own physical shape and condition. Can I carry that bag? How long? How far? Is my back and shoulders, my legs, my feet, whatever, going to let me? Okay? Pack it up with the actual things in there that you want to have packed. Get out and go for a walk in it. I guarantee you could take that big brown pack. Heck, you could probably even take this one. Pack it up with all your stuff and go for a walk through your neighborhood. And probably nobody's going to say a word to you. If anybody does, or they ask what you're doing, I've got a camping trip coming up, backpacking trip coming up. I'm just trying to get my bag all settled in, find out if it's going to work right for me. I'm trying it out, make sure it's adjusted right, whatever. It's a normal, common, honest, reply. Most people aren't going to think anything about that other than if it's some, city-dwelling goober. They may be thinking in their heads, ew, you're going out in the icky woods where there's bugs and dirt and scary things at, and boy, you're insane for out here sweating, carrying all that weight around. That's what they make cars for. I don't care if anybody thinks that. Big whoop, hadn't hurt me. I'm getting my pack worked in and finding out if I can carry that weight. Okay? I'll shut up now. I hope this has given you something to think about. As always, ask questions. Look at the comments. I don't have the answers. I am fully admit, as I've said before, I'm not an expert on all this. I know a little bit. I've done a little bit. I know what I know. I know there's a lot I don't know. I'm learning too. But I want to pass on some of this stuff for thoughts. Again, sometimes you guys ask questions that make me relook at things. So it's a give and take, two-way street, guys. I appreciate all the subscriptions. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me ramble about stuff. I know there's probably a lot of other things you could be doing with your time. So again, thanks. Hope you like this. Hope it makes you think a little bit. What else can I say? Get out there with your stuff. Think about it. Try it. Pack it up. Get using it. Stay prepared. Stay safe. And we'll talk to you later.